Ladies and gentlemen, this Red Gaming Sitcom video, Microsoft are set to unveil plans, at least in mid-January, for gaming on Windows. This is according to the head of the Xbox division, Phil Spencer. From what we're hearing, there's going to be an event which is going to be taking place, as I said, in mid-January, or January the 21st to be precise, at the Redmond HQ of Microsoft. Now, at this event, we will be seeing several key Microsoft bigwigs who are going to be basically telling us what they're planning for the next version of its operating system, known as Windows 10, of course. But supposedly, gaming is going to be a really big part of that. Phil was actually discussing this on Twitter, and amongst other things did say, I'll be focusing on what we're going to be doing with Windows 10 in January, but it's time for us to talk about gaming on Windows. Now, the official announcement of the event, Spencer will be joining a lot of other executives and a panel, and this is going to be a specific section of that panel, a lot of the panel in fact, which is going to be aiming at purely talking with the Windows 10 customer experience. The problem is, many are obviously skeptical because Microsoft have said a couple of times over that they will be taking Windows and gaming to the next level. You know, they're going to be focused on PC gaming and so on. It hasn't really materialized. In 2014, we have of course learned a lot about DirectX 12, and that is definitely going to go a long way for PC to kind of get over a hurdle that it's had in regards to performance. Obviously, the fact that you can't really make the most of the hardware that you've got simply because of DX11 and some of the really legacy code issues that are taking place with the API. Obviously, Mantle we've got, which is low-level access, which has done pretty well, but obviously the problem with Mantle is it only works for certain graphics cards. More specifically, it only works for AMD graphics cards, which are running on GCN. So hopefully AMD will have some competition with DirectX 12, and some actually cite and say that, well, the whole reason that AMD developed Mantle was to help promote and push for DX12. And obviously Windows 10, we have had a look at the development builds. Obviously we've got a couple of videos on the channel if you need to check those out. But it's basically returned to form. It's very much like a combination of Windows 7 and Windows 8's best bits, at least in my opinion. Obviously, I've mentioned it several times over, I really didn't like the Metro UI, specifically the start menu and so forth, or should I say the start screen of Windows 8. The problem is, from the perspective of PC gamers, we've heard a lot of this stuff before. Gaming on Windows, and that Microsoft were going to become a big part of it. Back in the day, Microsoft really used to put out quite a lot of titles. They also used to publish a lot of titles on the PC, but that's really started to slow down since the Xbox. Obviously, we still do have the odd flight sim and so forth, but they've not put out anywhere near as much content as they used to for PC, which is a bit of a shame because they were really putting out some awesome titles like MechWarrior and so forth. I believe actually was from them, coming to think of it. The thing of it is, if we were to look at, let's say, Valve, who are starting to push the Steam OS, and obviously Linux is becoming more of a thing. It's certainly not exactly a threat at the moment to PC gaming, because quite simply put, there's not enough developers who are really making games on the platform, and that really is what the kind of crux of the matter is. Not enough people game on Linux, which means, of course, not enough developers are pushing games on Linux, but it is starting to change, and a lot of indie games are being developed with Linux in mind. If you were to, you know, mosey on over to Steam and look at a lot of games that are on Linux, most of those, I'm not saying all of them, but certainly if you look at a AAA release, like a really big AAA release like Assassin's Creed Unity, which obviously isn't on Steam, but still, if you were to look at a lot of the titles from, say, Konami and those type of big developers, they're simply not on Linux yet, which means that what Microsoft want to do is maintain that monopoly, because otherwise, you know, if gamers are start to get pushed over to Linux, which obviously has traditionally a lower footprint and so forth, then that's going to be kind of bad for them. So what I'm hoping is Microsoft do really start to push the PC gaming experience. Obviously they are providing updates, they're still providing, you know, support, and they are kind of part of the DirectX crew, but it would be nice as well if they started to publish more games and develop more games and to really start taking a more leading hand in the in PC and Xbox gaming. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.